everyone, Bess here. Welcome back to my channel. So today we have a tutorial requested by a Redditor from the VROID subreddit on how to create a specific hairstyle. Now a lot of people are calling it the dead mom anime hairstyle, but it's a little bit different. So we're gonna make it slightly shorter, in between shoulders and neck, or ear length, and the accessory, the ponytail that comes in the front side, will not be connected to the back. It'll be separate. So let's get started. We're gonna be moving on from here without my model. My iPhone was having some trouble picking up my face and my talking when I was tracking. So no tracking from here on out. What we're gonna start with is I have my mannequin model here, just kind of waiting for us to do something. I go to the overall hair tab. This is personal preference. You do not have to go to overall hair tab. If you'd like to break up your hairstyle, you can, or put it in another tab, you can, but we're proceeding here. We're gonna hit that custom, which is the right button, create new. It's gonna automatically create a base head layer, which drives me nuts. But for now, we're gonna leave it. So let's go to the right-hand side. We're gonna hit that edit hairstyle, and it's gonna automatically populate a mesh here for us. Let's start with the back of the hair first. So what I like to do is I like to create multiple layers with hair. That way it creates a 3D effect instead of having one big layer sitting at the back of the head. Let's straighten this out just a little bit, or maybe not straighten, but we want it to look like the shape of hair when it falls. So like that. Let's grab this mesh. We're gonna move it over and down just a little bit. So we're looking at this back of the mesh right here. See how it's got like kind of a natural curl in. Most hair naturally does that. Especially when it hits the shoulders, it'll just kind of curve on its own. So we're just manually adjusting until we get the shape we want. That's good right there. How is it side? So we don't like how this side looks, so I'm going to turn on mirror mode, which is this top right. You know it's on when it's blue. Let's grab these and bring them in slightly. Grab these and bring them in slightly. Grab these and bring them in slightly. And grab this and bring it in slightly. There we go. See, that looks pretty good. Next up, now that we have the shape, let's scroll on down to our hair parameters. These are fine. We're not going to touch any of these. The only thing we are going to touch is down here in this curve. When it comes to VROID hairstyles, I like to bring this first one up so that it creates a straight line in between it and the second one. Bring the third little node down to match the first two. Take the fourth one and just move it slightly to the right. So we're just going to increase that angle between the fourth and fifth node and increase the length between the third and the fourth node. I ended up creating a new material so I could have the brown that matches the base head. Let's move on over to the brush tool, which is the second of the 4 icons in the work area. It does take a moment to load, so be patient. Don't click more than once. Just give it some time. Let's draw, now that we have decreased the width, let's draw close to the ear, starting from a little bit above where the mesh starts to show. And we're gonna draw down and out just a little bit. We're gonna give it that little bit of curve. What I like to do after I've made the main body is I'll go back to the brush, reselect the mesh, and we're gonna add some small strands just to give it more realism. And then if you don't like the shape, once you are done brushing or adding strands via the brush tool, you can come back over here and with mirror mode on, I mean, you can turn it off if you want, but looks better with it on, grab some vertices and just pull out. which means it's time to make the main back hair part. So we're going to add another freehand hair guide with our selection hand tool. Let's go back up. We have to select that new material we made. Go back down here. Let's do the same thing to the curve we did earlier. Boom. Come back here. And now we're just going to adjust the mesh. And we're going back to the brush tool. Eventually. Let's decrease that hair width again to 0.2. And we're going to focus on the back of the hair because the front will be a different part. So this is where the flat top part we talked about earlier comes into play. That's how we're going to make our scalp looking area. So we're going to draw from the center, coming down, back behind the ears, and wrap. So it's not quite as long as I would like, but we can fix that later. That's not a big deal. Let's increase the width a little bit. Start back from the middle. Do the same thing. Now is the time where we can adjust those hair strands in the back that we don't like. So we're going to go to the control points, which is the fourth option. Make sure you have mirror mode turned on. It is imperative that you turn it on. Otherwise, strands that have a mirrored partner will not be ever adjustable again in the future. Like, that's it. Once you break that bond, it's broken. On to the front, we're going to add another freehand hair guide. Go back to our selection tool, which is that first option. We are now creating the front of the hair. Now that the mesh has been adjusted, let's drop on down. We need to select the same brown hair material that all the others have. We also have to readjust the curve. Uh-oh, but look at this. I have accidentally added another node. How do you erase it? You right click. Boom, it's gone. Easy as pie. Within brush tool, we're gonna drop the width down to 0.2 again. And then let's turn it. We're gonna keep mirror mode on just for a couple strokes. All right, with mirror mode turned off and under brush tool, we're gonna start drawing the bangs. Let's decrease the hair width just a little bit to 0.02. And if this is the hairline right here, and we have bangs coming down, we're probably going to want the hair to start right here. And we're gonna bring it down to the point where we want the ponytail. We are starting on the side with mirror mode still off. We're going to switch over to the selection tool and resize multiple meshes. Let's grab the second one. And so now it's time for the ponytail. Let's add another freehand hair guide. We're going to resize it and move it to be a cylinder. Now that it is a cylinder shape, let's move to the resize button, which is the third one down. And we're gonna shrink it width and shrink it length. and shrink it, I don't know, this way, the other way, you know, the third way. And then let's adjust it, move it on over to where we think the ponytail should start. Yeah, so right about there. Right about there. Let's move the center of it. And so now I'm going to pinch. We're going to adjust the rest of the hair, or the rest of the mesh, as if it were a hair. We're turning mirror mode off for this, just because I want the ponytail to have a forward feel, a forward look to it. And now it's time to select the correct material. So we want the hair, and this one, because we're on the selection tool, we are going to make our normal hair curve changes, but that's going to be different when we switch over to the brush tool. Within the brush tool, I'm going to right click all of the middle nodes, so I'm just left with a straight line, and I'm going to bring that all the way up to the top. I have mirror mode turned off. Okay, now this is a super secret technique that I have learned through thousands of hours of VROID. So what we're gonna do is with our left mouse button, this is how you draw the hair, we're going to click at the back of the hair, and then we're going to drag slightly, and now click with our right mouse button and rotate ever so slightly, drag, rotate, drag, rotate, drag, rotate, drag, rotate. You want to be making very small movements. Now I want to adjust the width just a little bit and the thickness. There we go. Up next, we're gonna duplicate this exact mesh that we just made. And then we're gonna delete the little hair. Come over to our resize tool, and we're just gonna make it slightly smaller. Because this is a duplicated mesh, it should have all of the same settings, and it does. Whoop whoop, so we're just gonna go on over to our brush tool. Brush tool. Hit mirror mode on. Let's decrease the width and the thickness just a little bit because we're handling such tiny hairs, and then we're just gonna draw. I've clicked off to the side so we can view what the whole hair looks like, and it's perfect. It looks super adorable. We're ready to move on to the rigging stage.
I lied. No, we're not. I'm gonna show you how to flip it. So let's just flip, right click, and flip, and flip. And suddenly, oh no, wait, we gotta do one more. No, not duplicate, flip, and suddenly it's on the other side.
So you just have to right click and flip all of the, applicable hair meshes that you have created. Ba-na-na-na! Now it's time for rigging. So to get to rigging, we're gonna hit that X in the top left-hand corner. We're gonna hit over right, and then we're gonna wait. And then we're gonna hit on the right-hand side the Edit Hair Bounce button. I have to sneeze. I'm not gonna edit that out, but you didn't hear me sneeze. So let's start with the most complicated process of this hair first, and that would be the ponytail. Let's select all of the pieces. Yes, why not? Let's do it. We're gonna create bone group. And then for the back of the hair, I am going to manually click on the model because of mirror mode, the way it organizes is a little wonky. And I'm gonna manually select half of the top hair, create bone group, and then that means you can select the rest of the hair and then create bone group. I'm gonna do the same thing for the bottom hairs. it looks a little wonky. It looks a little wonky. So let's close all of these bone groups. And what we're gonna do is see these, I don't even know what those are, the bones. We're going to drop the fixed point because the fixed point is deciding at what point the hair starts to move. And so the top is where the hair starts to move. And we don't want it, you know, we don't want the bottom of the hair moving crazy. So we're gonna have that the lowest point. We're also gonna decrease the hit radius just a little bit. I usually decrease it by like half. Here's the top part. We're gonna decrease the fixed point a little bit. Yeah, that's about good. Maybe a little bit lower. Same thing for the other side. And now for the front, this one we want to be extremely low towards the bottom of the ponytail. There we go, like that. And we have rigged. I'm so nervous. That means it's time to go test. So we're gonna exit out, but save. Overwrite. Up here in the top right, we're gonna hit the camera mode. Photo booth. Let's go to post-processing, hit that anti-alias, and we want that on high. And then let's zoom in. So far, so good. Wow, I really like that. I think it's so cute. And let's try poses and animation, and my favorite is standby 2. Look at that. It looks like we should decrease the bones. We have too many bones, and that's causing it to, with the low points, it's causing it to glitch out, as well as that little hair I had problems grabbing earlier. I'm gonna have to move him too. All right, let's exit out of the photo booth. Go back to our edit hair bounce. Group number 1, let's decrease those bones to 2. Let's decrease the stiffness just a little bit. We're moving on to the next hair group. Let's decrease those bones to 2 as well. No, actually, since this is the top of the head, let's do 3. Decrease the stiffness as well, ever so slightly. This one, because it's the top, let's decrease to 3. Decrease the stiffness. Here is an under. We're going to decrease to 2. Decrease the stiffness. Here's the other side. We're going to decrease to 2. Decrease the stiffness. And then where is that little hair?
This little guy, he's stuck in there.
Is it this one? No. Are you? Oh, wait. It was that one. Remove from bone group. And now we're going to select it. And it needs to be with the gold. So we're going to highlight the gold, and then the bottom button, move to selected bone group. I see this 2 bone front, and I want to change that. We're going to up it to 3. Let's also decrease the fixed point. I mean, technically it's increase, sorry. I know I've said decrease, but we're lowering the fixed point by increasing the little slider. Exit out. Move on over to the photo booth again. There it is. It's completed, and I think it's so cute. If you would like the ponytail and or bangs to have more flow, what you need to do is via the slider, decrease the slider, which brings the bone base up. So we're gonna bring that up to right about there, and then exit out and overwrite. Go back to our photo booth. And now it's more movie. We're gonna call it there. That's it. I hope you learned how to make this hairstyle. I hope I made it easy to understand. If not, please let me know down below in the comments, and I will see you in the next one.